Hello and welcome back to Nerd News. Today we have a new Roroni Kenshin anime announced, and finally we have the new Tcg Yu-Gi-Oh Ban List. Came out this morning. Let's get started. First up we have the Yu-Gi-Oh Tcg Ban List. We're going to jump right into this one because this is probably the biggest news from yesterday and it's probably going to be the longest segment. Here it is on screen. We have the bans, Fairy Tale Snow. That's fine. It shouldn't even have come back. As much as I love the card, it really just shouldn't have come back. Ronin Toden. This one hurt on a personal level. I love my frogs. I love the toads. And I really wish it didn't have to go, but the way that Sprite is, it was gonna have to go. There's not really even a good alternative replacement. I guess you could get rid of Totally Awesome, but that's just more detrimental to more decks than getting rid of Ronin Toden is, so I get it. It just kind of wish it didn't have to go. Next we have Christian Halkifibrex. Finally, this card needed to be banned like a year ago. It's such a overly good card, and it's not even like insanely broken in and of itself. Like, it just summons a tuner from the deck, but it's the things that it enables, and it makes so many other cards broken, and it breaks the mechanic, and that's not a good thing. A lot of people defend the card because it itself doesn't do anything insane, and it's all the things that it enables that are insane. So a lot of people wanted to ban the enabled cards like Auroradon, but honestly, Halkifibrex just had to go. That was the problem. If you get rid of Halkifibrex, so many cards can come off the ban list, and we'll get to those in a minute. Whatever. Chaos Synchro Dragon. This card is insane. It's just too good. It was too good, too generic. I could see why it had to go. Kind of sucks that it had to go. I honestly don't think it needed to be banned right this second, but I can see why it got banned. Red Reboot has needed to go for a long time. There's way too much back row hate in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And specifically trap hate. There's so many cards in this game currently that just obliterate any kind of trap deck, and kind of ridiculous. And it makes a type of card that's already insanely underpowered basically useless when this card exists, especially with all the spell and trap removal we have. Trap decks already have enough problems. They really don't need Red Reboot running around. Limited, we got Steam the Cloak. Doesn't matter, Halk's gone. We got Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion, and that doesn't matter because Halk's gone. The more interesting ones are Cyberjar, which isn't going to matter, to be honest. It's a flip monster. It's just too slow. It's a really cool card, and it's neat that it's coming back. That's cool, but it doesn't really matter. Substitute, which is nice to have back because, it's Substitute. He's cool. Substitute's a good card. But without Ronin Toden, it's not really going to do anything. To be honest, even with Ronin Toden, I don't think it really would have did anything besides the FTKs, and that might sound weird, well, yeah, the FTKs are the problem, and I get that, but for a second, let's ignore that. Substitute in and of itself, just as a card, if you take away all the mass burn cards that tribute monsters to inflict damage, like Cannon Soldier, Mass Driver, stuff like that, I really don't think Substitute was a ban-worthy card. It would have been okay at best. Most of the frog cards really aren't that good, and the ones that are good, there's only 2, maybe 3 that you can actually play that are good. What are you really going to play? You're going to play a couple copies of Ronin Toden, a couple copies of Substitute, a couple copies of Swap Frog, and a couple copies of Dupe Frog. But that's really it. I'm sure there's a couple others that maybe you'll mix in just to increase your frog count, but honestly, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal if you got rid of the burn cards that enabled the FT. Honestly, just get rid of them. Cannon Soldier should be banned by now. Toon Cannon Soldier should be banned. All the other, mass burn cards like that should just go. They don't really serve any purpose besides the FTK, whereas some of these other cards are actually decent or have some niche use, like Substitute, that could be cool, but we can't get them. Whatever. Next is Spellbook of Judgment. This is a really interesting return, but honestly it's not going to do anything because the Spellbook cards aren't that good anymore. It adds them back. It adds cards to your hand, and it's usually a +6, but it's at the end of your turn, so what are you doing with them? It's a bunch of spell cards you can't use the next turn. It's neat, but it's nothing crazy. The best thing it can do is summon Jowgen, which, like, that's fine, but when we have Flandre summoning a barrier statue of Stormwinds, plus, you know, a negate, plus it activates a ton of effects on your turn and puts cards to the top of your deck so you don't get a draw. Ending on basically a weaker barrier statue is kind of just not good. Appointing of the Red Lotus to 1, fine. It's hand knowledge is super important, and this is just kind of hand knowledge plus take away your opponent's best card, so that's probably not fair. Same reason like Confiscation's banned. It's unfair and kind of just an unfun card. The Unlimiteds, we're not really going to spend a lot of time on this because most of these are irrelevant, as Unlimiteds usually are. Ben 10 to 3, which is, I mean, that's cool. Drytron is looking a little bit better, but probably not relevant. Shooting Riser Dragon to 3, I don't know why they ever put that to 1, it was stupid. Trickstar Light Stage to 3, that's neat. It's like somewhat back row removal. Also has extenders. I mean, that's cool. I'm probably going to actually pick up some Trickstar stuff just to play around with, because I like the Trickstar deck, and this coming back to 3 kind of makes it worthwhile. Wall of Revealing Light to 3, doesn't really matter. No one's going to care. Near Servant, should have never went to 2. That was stupid. The deck's not even... it's not even a deck. The little engine that plays the Dear Servant really was never that good. It was always just okay. And putting it to 2 didn't really do anything, so putting it to 3 is fine. It's basically the same thing. No one's playing it at 2, they're not going to play it at 3. It's not that big of a difference. And then Fusion Destiny to 3. I mean, this is fine. With Verte gone, Fusion Destiny doesn't really need to be limited anymore. No one is realistically going to play 3 Fusion Destiny plus 2 bricks to maybe end on a stronger monster. So this is fine. Overall, the ban list sucks ass. And you might have noticed that I didn't really have anything bad to say about anything on this ban list. I thought every hit was pretty much justified. Anything coming off seemed fine. There was nothing crazy. So what's the problem? Well, they didn't ban Mystic Mine, which is just one of the most unfun cards in the game to play. Kind of annoying. I don't think it needs to be banned specifically. I think I've said this before. I don't think it needs an actual ban. I think putting it to 1 would be fine. 1 Mystic Mine isn't going to allow Mystic Mine burn decks to go. So that, I don't think would be too big of a deal. Maybe. I would think honestly, I would be fine with it going to 1 and then seeing how that goes before banning it. If they really want to keep it around for some reason, but it's banned in Master Duel, it's banned in the OCG, just get rid of the card. It's not, no one likes it. No one wants to play against it. Just get rid of it. Keeping with the Yu-Gi-Oh theme, we have these really cool DM era shoes from Adidas. Not available here in the United States currently, but they are in Canada. So maybe we'll get a US release of these. They look pretty good. I mean, I really like the Dark Magician ones, but I don't know if I like them enough to wear them. I think I would just buy them and put them on a shelf somewhere. I think I would display them, but I don't think I'd buy them. They are nice though. I do like them, and I could definitely see them being pretty cool. Next up, we have some game news. We got E3 coming back next year, which is good. E3 will be returning June 13th through the 16th of next year, which is great. I'm a big fan of the E3. I know a lot of people think we don't need it anymore, but I think the last couple of years since we haven't had them, people have seen the problem with not having E3. The summer turns into a mess of like, when will we get an announcement on anything? E3 kind of squishes everything together. We get one solid chunk of announcements, and you know when it is, you can expect it, you can plan for it, and I just think it's great. Also, it always happens to be around my birthday in 2023, which is fun. I usually take off a couple days, or usually the day of the Nintendo Direct, to stay home, watch, and see some of this stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to see it again. Definitely not going to E3 because that is insanely expensive and honestly not fun. Don't go to E3. If you like watching E3 at home, you like seeing all the announcements, don't go to E3. You're not going to get any of the announcements. You miss them all because they happen usually before on the first day of the event, and then you spend all day in a convention center waiting in lines. It's not fun. It's not like a nerd convention like Comic-Con or anime conventions like Otakon or something. it's much more business oriented. You're just kind of playing demos, waiting in line, press, that kind of stuff. It's not the good time you would think it is. Just stay home, watch the event. It's a lot of fun to watch the event though, so looking forward to it. I personally cannot wait. Next we have the new Roroni Kenshin anime coming out. The trailer looks pretty good. I don't really have any complaints. It looks good. I don't have any complaints, but I don't know if we really needed a remake of this show. There's a lot of anime coming out that is new and looks really good, so I don't want to complain too much that they're doing a remake. We don't really need a remake of this, but I can't complain because honestly, I love Rurouni Kenshin. It's such a good series. Check it out. The animation here looks really good, and hopefully this continues and we get an anime on the later parts of the series, the newer series that the manga artist is working on. I know he continued the story, and I believe it's still ongoing. So maybe we'll get that kind of stuff after this series, and maybe this series will be a little more concise. We'll just get the complete manga just done quickly, kind of like a Kai, but instead of using old footage, they just remade it. That would be neat, but we'll see where it goes. It looks pretty good, though. I'm a fan of this animation. This looks good. And I want to end today with probably the most exciting news for me personally, even though it's not really a big deal. Today is Last of Us Day, as noted in yesterday's Nerd News, and we got a trailer. I figured we would. I thought we'd get a little bit more information, but I guess it's something. So this is the new The Last of Us trailer from HBO, and it looks really good. Honestly, it looks really, really good. The clicker looks disgusting. The noises it's making are gross. I love it. But we're still just in 2023. That's all we got. I was really, really hoping we'd get an actual date for the show. I guess it's going to be later 2023. Like, if we didn't get not getting the date here tells me that it's definitely not going to happen before, like, March. Maybe summer, but probably next fall, which I don't want to wait till fall. That's a whole year. I don't want to wait a year. Like, the show's done. If I remember correctly, the show's already done. They filmed it, and, like, part of me gets it. There's probably a ton of effects going into this, so maybe, you know, like, I don't want to rush the effects people. Effects people have enough problems as it is, so, like, I don't want to complain, like, they need to rush and get this out, but at the same time, I really don't want to wait a year. You know, just, I want to wait a year, but they're going to make us wait a year. I can feel it. We're not going to get this till, like, fall, and that kind of sucks. But with that being said, the trailer is amazing. The show looks really good. Cannot wait. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to watch this. And that's all the news for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, that stuff below. Let me know what you think of the Yu-Gi-Oh Ban List. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh, let me know what you think of the ban list. I think it was trash, but that's just me. See you tomorrow. I'm going to play Pokemon. Forget Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm playing Pokemon instead. I'll see you tomorrow.